become a legend, or he may die.
Welcome to MojoPlays, and today we're looking over the anticipated titles and video games that we're concerned about for one reason or another.
Before we begin, we publish new content all week long, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
Hollow Knight, Silksong. When does anticipation mutate into apathy? Because of the rate this sequel is going, even the most hardcore of Hollow Knight fans are getting fed up with this saga of delays. There's no denying the original is an indie darling and a masterpiece of a Metroidvania. And with such a small team, of course we'd want Team Cherry to take as long as they need to cook up a worthy follow-up. It's just that 2019 feels like light years ago by this point, and the severe lack of communication on the part of the developers has us hitting the copium hard. Fable.
What do I think about heroes? Well, we've all seen them, haven't we? Swanning about the place with their disproportionately high cheekbones and comically massive weapons.
Wanker.
If there's one game that needs new life breathed into it, it's Fable. While the original held a cult following, the diminishing returns of its sequels damned it to wither away. Now, the folks behind the incredible Forza games are taking the helm and bringing us a fresh rendition. Eventually.
Well, you have come to the right place. Because who better to tell you all about them than perhaps the greatest hero of them all? Yeah?
With a delay into 2026, the departure of their narrative director, Eidos Montreal having to help on the production side, as well as only having 2 cinematic trailers and a pre-alpha snippet to its name, we're all rightfully concerned. We want it to be good. We want Fable to have its second shot at becoming a staple of fantasy gaming. Unfortunately, it seems to just keep hitting snags every step of the way.
She was something else, alright. She was terrifying.
Grand Theft Auto 6.
Lucia, do you know why you're here? Bad luck, I guess.
Look, we all know GTA 6 is too big to fail by this point, and if past practices are to be believed, we'll be seeing this title re-released over and over well into the 2030s. Our issues extend well beyond the fact that, despite their assurances of a 2025 release, we're still betting our mortgages we won't be seeing a return to Vice City until next year.
The way she thought it should be. Yeah, we were desperate then.
Even if it turns out to be the greatest game to ever grace the medium, there's a very real chance that, because of its scope, GTA 6 could usher in the much discussed and much lamented rise of average video game sales prices to around the $100 mark. When you take that into consideration, GTA 6 becomes equal parts sequel and Herald of Doom. Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Is love.
Ubisoft is not a fun place to be right now. Off the heels of Skull and Bones along with a litany of other flops in its rearview mirror, the chances of this sequel ever making it out of development hell become slimmer by the day. Despite an outrageous and engrossing trailer, last we heard the whole thing was still in pre-alpha. We can only imagine the kind of knock-on effect from their recent failures has done to its life cycle.
Gods protect us.
Even if they do get it up the ground and push it out in one last desperate dash, there's every chance it could end up worse than its pirate predecessor. We doubt the Singaporean government are going to give them another financial boost after last year.
Bon appetito.
New Battlefield. DICE are apparently assembling the best of the best to take everything back to basics and put out the kind of Battlefield game fans have been dying to see. They're even bringing back single-player campaigns. And we're still not excited. Why? Because 2042 was an unbridled mess filled with terrible design choices and countless game-breaking bugs. Even after all this time trying to iron it out, it is a pale imitation of others in its genre. After a loss as big as that, it's going to take nothing short of a miracle for them to recapture the goodwill and hype that the military shooter was once known for. Perfect Dark.
I always knew I had an instinct.
Did the first trailer look kind of fire? For sure. Are we long overdue another entry from Miss Dark and her top tier marksman skills? Absolutely. The only issue we have is that we're all too aware of what's been happening behind the scenes. And honestly, all reports point to it being a horror show.
Analyze. What am I looking at here?
Carrington appears to be targeting a research facility. If he attacks it, the casualties could be astronomical.
Despite once again being touted as a quadruple A game, developers, The Initiative, have had to bring on the likes of Crystal Dynamics to help with the process. All the while, staff have been leaving left and right. Making a game is no easy task, but the more we hear about this reboot, the more we're convinced it's akin to a sinking ship.
Once you open this door, there's no going back.
New Halo.
We can't escape.
You work on the batteries. I'll buy us some time.
Talk about an uphill battle. For every step this franchise takes in trying to recapture its former glory, it finds itself slipping down into a mire of mediocrity. While news of Halo swapping to a new engine and focusing purely on gameplay as opposed to dealing with flawed tech is good, after Halo Infinite's strenuous life cycle combined with Microsoft's decision to abandon exclusivity, the chances of this latest reimagining being able to bring the depth and allure of the original trilogy seems like a pipe dream. The Chief's appeal can only do so much. Prince of Persia, The Sands of Time remake.
I saw my father turn to sand.
Once again, we circle back to Ubisoft. The failures just keep stacking up on top of each other. And given how tumultuous the production of this reboot has been, we have no reason to believe it will come out in a satisfying state. Announced back in 2020, this project has switched hands multiple times, with it ultimately falling to Ubisoft Montreal to complete.
The sands will consume everything.
Come with me then. But I warn you, I move pretty fast. You'd better keep up.
The previously listed 2021 release date went out the window. And with everything that has happened to this company in recent days, even we have our doubts that their plans for a 2026 release date will come to fruition. Why couldn't they just put these resources into continuing the Lost Crown?
They are wrong.
Assassin's Creed Shadows.
This blade, it cannot be taken.
What?
Now's the time.
That's right, Ubisoft's going for the hat trick. While this title is just around the corner, whatever luster this latest installment may have had has started to drastically diminish. The delays have been constant. Previews paint the dual protagonist style system to be more of a hindrance than innovative, while the Yasuke-centric combat has us yearning for the days of Ghost of Tsushima.
I see potential in this man.
The brave soldier is not one of us. Send him back to wherever he belongs.
While there's every chance it can rise above the dregs of the franchise, Shadows has more going against it than any other Assassin's Creed game to date.
To bring change, to bring light.
New Mass Effect. Are there still reasons to have hope that the next Mass Effect will be a good game? Yes. on account that veteran staff are running the show, with the narrative being penned by Mary DeMalle, the writer for the awesome Guardians of the Galaxy game. Are there still reasons to believe it could also fall through into a black hole? Oh yes. Due to Dragon Age The Veilguard's poor financial return, BioWare's staff has been gutted, leaving a much smaller team to carry the weight of development. Also, the last sci-fi third-person shooter released under the BioWare banner was Anthem. Needless to say, they have their work cut out for them. Which of these upcoming games give you pause? Let us know in the comments.
Jade.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, there's more where that came from.